Today was a fine day. First day of week 3. It's getting pretty annoying that I'm not getting anything from Michael. From what I've heard, this week for sure I should get something back. We'll see about that. His family is starting to send letters now. They keep asking me if I've gotten that postcard that's supposed to have the correct address, just in case my address is wrong. The address that I got from his call is wrong, but didn't get that, so they're just gonna send it to that address like I have been. I've been sending letters for 2 weeks and not got none of them back and got no responses, so I'm assuming they're getting to him. I watched a video today about like what the Air Force Basic is like from day 1 to graduation, and when I first started watching it, I started feeling bad because like the first week or so is really tough. You've got just people screaming in your face, the kind of stuff you hear about boot camp. But after the first 2 weeks, it seems like things get a lot easier, and it gets a lot for things that like Michael is into. It sounds like it's going to be a lot more fun for him after the first week, simply because like the kind of exercises they're going to be doing, the things they're learning, that kind of stuff Michael enjoys. And so I went from feeling bad because I was like, oh, maybe I underestimated what they're doing to him, to feeling completely right in my response to it. Because up to this point, I've kind of been feeling like, he's got it better than me, if that makes sense. When we're talking about emotional. Obviously, he has it much more physically demanding than me, obviously, but he also enjoys that for the most part, at least when he was home. He enjoyed doing physical anything. So mentally, I was a little worried when I first watched the video because he doesn't do good under high stress situations, which the first week is high stress. But then afterwards, it seems like it gets a lot easier, and that just kind of makes me feel better about myself, if that makes sense, because I believe that I may have it. It's not that I have it harder, but my feelings are justified. To me, this is the worst thing Michael could have ever done to me, because of the way I am, my struggles. A lot of things are psychological for me, and so this is the worst thing that could have happened to me, and that's why I always swore that I wouldn't put myself in this situation. But beginning to watch sorry, my dog's scratching. When I first started watching the video, I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't have it a lot harder psychologically than I would have thought. But finishing the video, I feel justified in how I've been feeling, being angry and being sad and being upset at the whole situation. I don't know if any of that made sense. Anyway, sorry, my dog's messing around. Anyways, yeah, I just feel justified in my feelings now. I I'm gonna be doing a mud run next year, on me and Michael's together anniversary. So not our wedding anniversary, but the day we got together. Me and my trainer offered this to me. She's doing it with some other the girl she trains, and it sounds really fun. It's a 3-mile, 25-ish obstacle course, but you don't have to do all the obstacles, which I really like. Michael did a Tough Mudder, which there's no way I could do, but it's something similar to that, just way beginner. Come here. There you go. Good boy. There's no way I could do a Tough Mudder, and but this is something that I think will be really fun, and I really hope that Michael will be in a position to come watch me. My trainer was worried about, where I'll be at that time, and I'm not sure where I'll be at that time, but I am going to be coming back home later that month anyways, because I'm going to Vegas with my mom. But yeah, I think it'll be fun. I don't remember if I said this at all in yesterday's video, because I guess I'll find out in editing. Okay, my trainer also talked to me about something fun that she's going to be doing this fall, which is going to be pretty much like a little competition that she's having with all her trainees about, like, she's going to give us 4 extra workouts to do at home on top of what we do with her. And, like, after a certain amount of time, she's going to tally up how many workouts were actually completed, and then, like, there'll be prizes or whatever. So that sounds really fun. I am feeling more confident in my workouts. Like, I think I mentioned, I'm getting my appetite back, so I have more energy to do those things. My sleep schedule is getting better. My body's forcing me to wake up early and earlier. I press snooze and I can't go back to sleep, so that's really good. I think I'm getting out of a funk. I still feel numb in some emotions, and I also feel, pretty much I feel numb in some emotions still, but I think I'm getting better. I can still understand what I need to feel and what's right for me to be feeling. For the most part, I think I am doing better. This is only a quarter of the way through, so after next week, we'll be halfway through. I'm saying a lot in this video, I'm sorry. That's really all I have for updates. I'm still taking melatonin to sleep. I'd like to get off that. However, I'm sleeping. I don't like to, I'm not tired. I'm not getting tired at night. So, yeah, that's pretty much the fun stuff that has been going on. That's my update. I still miss him like crazy. I still love him like crazy. It still feels like he kind of fell off the face of the earth. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm petting my dog, because otherwise he'll be whining. But I do still feel like he's fallen off the face of the earth and has no way of communicating with me. But all my sources say this is the last possible week that something should come in. So, and I've heard from people who have gotten 10 letters back throughout all of boot camp, to only 2 or 3 letters throughout all of boot camp. So I'm really hoping that I'm closer to the 10, because anything helps. But I do think that the first one will really, that will really help me super bunches, if that makes sense. I just need something back. Even if it's just the freaking postcard. I just want something. I was told I was getting a postcard, and I'm not getting a postcard. Still writing every day. It doesn't really, I mean, I'm only a quarter of the way through, so I'm sure it'll get harder, but it doesn't really seem hard to write. When I look things up about letters, a lot of people have like writing prompts. If you forget what to write or you don't know what to write, follow the prompt. But for me, I pretty much write what I would tell him on a normal day. So like what happened that day, what's exciting to me, that kind of stuff. So if you are having trouble writing at this point, I mean, you can go to one of those prompts. You can find them everywhere. But in my personal, experience at this point, a quarter of the way through, 2 weeks through, I just write what I'm excited about, what's currently happening, a daily update, what was funny that happened that day. I've only written one letter that was not upbeat, and I put a disclaimer on that letter because they're going to be going through a lot, as will you be, and sometimes... Did I say that right? Whatever. And sometimes you just need to express it. And for me, I couldn't express that to anybody else but Michael. So I did write it to him. I wrote how I was feeling. And I put a disclaimer in it because if he was having a hard time at that point, or at any point, I don't want him to read it. And I told him, if you need encouragement, do not read this right now. Wait until tomorrow's letter. And the next day's letter was upbeat. But that specific letter is something that I needed to get out, I needed to say, and I needed to say to him. Now that was the Sunday that I broke down, that you saw, where I was crying. That was that day. I was just having an overwhelming day, and I talked to my mom about it, and it just wasn't enough. I needed to talk to Michael about it. Even though I got no response, everything flows better through him. Even if I can't see his reactions or hear his reactions, when my mind is set on talking to him, it's different. And it's not like something that I can just pretend like I'm talking to him. You know what I mean? Like, I could have not sent that letter, but I am sending letters every day. And that was how I felt that day. And each letter is a true representation of how I felt that day. I've mentioned in other letters that it wasn't an easy day, or that I'm struggling. But I usually find the good and write that as well. Even though my day might not be fantastic, which it usually isn't, I will choose to write about the better times in the day. Just because it is physically and mentally struggling. Just because it's physically and mentally hard on them there. Just like it's extremely mentally hard on you. If you are upset and down and everything, you don't want letters that are upsetting and down and that kind of stuff. So I did write the one, and I don't regret writing the one. Like I said, it needed to be said. And I hope he uses the disclaimer. Hopefully he doesn't need to use the disclaimer, but I did put a disclaimer. If that's something that you feel the need to do, then make sure you write a disclaimer, because he had a week of me writing letters of just happy things. He was probably looking forward to that one and was just going to, this is going to be a happy one. But if he opened it and it was just me being sad, then obviously he wouldn't have, that wouldn't have set well. So, write a disclaimer if you need to. Otherwise, just send happy, joyful words. I have been reading like mixed stuff about it. Some people, say that send letters or send envelopes and stamps. I have sent him stamps. Obviously, he hasn't used any of them yet, but I have sent him stamps. I don't know how I would send him letters. You're not supposed to send, or envelopes. You're not supposed to send care packages. So I don't know what to do, and I know that they can, I believe I've read that they could stop somewhere and buy them. I'm really, if not, I'm hoping that he can bum one off of a friend, or someone else in his flight, just so I can send him, because I have no way of knowing if he needs it. And if he bought some, I don't want to just add to more stuff, because he only has a small amount of space to keep everything. So I'm just really confused about all of that, because I don't want to be the reason he isn't writing, but I don't know how else to know, if that makes sense. So that's really all my update is. That's how I'm feeling. That's pretty much all that went down today. I worked out and talked to my trainer, and then I was editing, uploaded a video. It's pretty much how life has gone. So I'm gonna take some melatonin, possibly watch YouTube, possibly read Webtoon, possibly play a game. I don't know. I do something on my phone before I fall asleep. And I know that's not good for your eyes, but that's how I fall asleep. So, that's my update for the first day of week 3. Is that day 15? I don't know. All I know is that at this point, I'm 45 days so I could see my husband again. So, but I don't remember what it was in the beginning. But you'll know what day it is, because I've got it all figured out in my editing, but not in my mind at the current moment. So, first day of week 3. This is the end of first day of week 3.